spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Comic Frontline. Jay here from Comic Book Theater. Tonight I'm doing a special review, which is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's right, I got to go to a screening of it, so a premiere screening of it tonight, and I want to get back here and do a quick review for you. So I'm going to divide this up into two parts like I normally do my reviews on this level, like I do with Son of Batman. It's going to be the non-spoilerish review, and then I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, and I'm going to give you more spoilers, but I'm not going to spoil the whole thing. Okay, so the non-spoiler alert, spoiler review is, this is basically what we've seen in the trailers. You got Peter Parker, Spider-Man. He's enjoying being Spider-Man some. He takes on Electro. Electro is the villain here. Harry becomes the Green Goblin, which we already know that from the trailers. And there's a lot of action in here. We also get to see the Rhino in this movie. They do show the scene where the Sinister Six chamber is seen, where you see all the different things. Peter Parker graduates, as does Gwen. It's a really good story, I think. I think it's a progressive story. It takes you through, Peter Parker from the first movie. It really matures him some. Another thing that comes from the first movie is you find out more about Richard and Mary Parker. You find more about them. Peter finds out more about them in this movie. You get a little bit more of Aunt May's relationship with Peter in this, which I like, because I think that was kind of lacking in the first movie a little, that Aunt May-ish aspect of the Spider-Man mythos. It's more present in this one. Basically, that's all I can say without giving away too much spoilers. So I'm going to go to the spoiler alert. If you're here still, you want to know more stuff that happens. Okay, so you say it around. That means that you want to know more spoilers. Okay, so here's a rundown. In the beginning, Richard and Mary Parker, we see how they, their final moments. We get to see that. Then it goes to Peter stopping the pre-Rhino Alexei. So you get to see him before he becomes the Rhino in this. He's just a thug. He is driving like a getaway car. They're trying to steal some chemicals from Oscorp. Okay? Peter says the pre-Electro Max, Dylan. Peter and Gwen graduate. I think I seen Kat in this part. I'm not sure though, because I was trying to talk to someone that was with me, and we were I was explaining to someone about the scene. Stan Lee does his appearance here at the graduation. Love Stan Lee in the movie. I mean, how can you see Stan Lee on screen and not love him? He's just that character. He's like a grandfather to everyone. You just have that affection for him. Peter and Gwen break up in this. Max becomes kind of obsessed with Spider-Man, like thinking they're best friends and all that, like Spider-Man singing him happy birthday. There's a cute little thing where the Spider-Man ringtone, there's a ringtone on Peter Parker's phone, which is actually the it's like just a melody to the old 60s version of the Spider-Man thing. And it's kind of funny to see that. Max dubs Spider-Man the Amazing Spider-Man, so that's the connection there. Gwen goes to work for Oscorp. Harry returns home from boarding school after 10 years. He went there when he was 11. He didn't really know his father during those 10 years. His father's people sent him gifts and stuff. Didn't even really know it was his son. Just, sent him like scotch on his 16th birthday or something. Norman tells Harry that he's dying, and he gives him something and tells Harry, you know, this is all my work on this because I've been trying to save my life. This may help you because you're going to die from the same exact thing I'm dying from. Norman dies, and we get to see that he's actually part goblin because his fingers are like claws, and he's got the green skin and all that. So we know that it's some kind of genetic thing there. So the goblin isn't just, you know, oh, he took this experimental drug, he became the goblin and went insane. It's supposed to be some kind of disease or something. So that's the little plot that's been worked into this, and it makes it a little bit interesting because Harry is motivated by something else than his father being killed by Spider-Man. And I would like to point out though that we do not get to see Norman's body, so we don't know if Norman is actually dead. We meet Alistair Smythe in this movie. Max becomes Electro. Harry takes over Oscorp. We meet a character named Felicia, but we don't get her last name. So Peter finds out that Harry's back after he hears about Norman's death on the news. He goes talks to him. Apparently they were friends back when Harry was before Harry left. So like they were good friends, and they get this nice little bonding moment. But it doesn't really feel as good as it did in the comic books, because in the comic books we saw that they were, you know, friends growing up. This is just like, oh yeah, remember we were friends 10 years ago. Oh yeah, you were, you know, it's not that same, we were friends last week hanging out. You know, I was there for you at your 16th birthday. You were there for me when I did this. It was more of a, you know, oh, we used to be friends. Now we're just starting to hang out again, and you know, all the drama happens. Max wakes up actually in like a body bag in the morgue, and that's when he starts to have his powers. There's a fight between Spider-Man and Max where Max thinks Spider-Man actually betrayed him, so that he becomes like his admiration and obsession with Spider-Man twists from hero worship to, you know, I want to kill him. And that's a little twist with him. Peter starts to reinvestigate his parents' disappearance, and he does so almost Styles-like from Teen Wolf. He does the, you know, the little red lines going from this thing to this thing, trying to connect it, because in the beginning we see that Richard downloaded something to a place called Roosevelt. That's all we know about it. And Peter's trying to figure out what Roosevelt is and, you know, what everything is. At the same time, he tries to upgrade his web shooters because Electro's power short-circuited them. So he's trying to, you know, make it so that they can't be short-circuited by electricity anymore, because that's a flaw. Harry tells Peter that he's dying and that Spider-Man can help after Harry finds a file that Norman gave him in that little thing. When he touched it to his desk, the desk like went to like a computer screen on the desk, and he's like flipping through files. He sees that Peter's father and Harry's father were working on a project together with the spiders, and he puts two and two together. You know, Spider-Man is a product of this experiment, and Spider-Man's blood could actually help cure it. What's going on with Harry. Harry and Gwen meet. Gwen gets on to what's going on with Max. Aunt May finds all of Peter's research, and it's a really touching scene because Aunt May has this reaction where she feels like like a mother who adopted a child, you know. Peter's parents, she doesn't know what went on. All she knows is that they left him with her and Ben, and they raised him, and they watched him become a man. And here Peter is like still looking for what his father was, and looking up to his father in a way, she thinks. And she's like, You know, I was the one who was there for you, and you're my boy. I don't care what anyone says, you're my boy. So it's kind of like this adopted parent type thing. And I really like that aspect of it because it gave May some heart in this. And it really helped the character. Peter tells her though, you know, you were there for me. I just need to know the truth about what happened with my father. I can't, you know, I need to know the truth. And she tells him that there was like this government that came to him after it came to the house after Peter was dropped off, and he said that, you know, he betrayed Norman and all that stuff, and there was research that was vital to it. Peter then starts to like put everything together, and he finds Roosevelt, and he finds the file that his father sent there, and he sees it. He figures out what went on. Norman was, you know, using it for the research that Peter's father was doing for the wrong things, and the reason why it actually worked, why the spider bite did work on Peter and didn't work on anyone else, is because the human DNA that was infused into the spider with the radioactivity was actually Peter's father. So that's why it connected to him, and which is a really good thing because it makes sense now that why this one spider could bite Peter and Peter would get powers, but they did all these other research, you know, trying to give people, you know, trying to use this same experiment to save Norman, and it never worked. And this is why, because it's bonded to Richard's DNA, and since Peter's his son, he has that DNA in him. Harry goes and he frees Electro. They get the suit on because Spider-Man says, you know, I'm not going to help you. You know, I don't know what my blood would do to yours. I don't know if we're compatible. I'm sorry. So Harry gets his suit and he frees Electro to go after Spider-Man. Harry, Peter, and Electro get into this big fight. Gwen Stacy plays a role in there. Harry and Peter get in a fight. I'm not going to spoil the ending to you, but at the end, we do see Rhino. So everyone thinks that like Rhino was going to be like that short first villain, but he wasn't. He was actually a short ending villain. And it kind of makes sense with the ending of the movie, how they ended it. You get a couple story arcs from the comic books mixed up into this really fast at the end. You know, so you get some of that. And I think it was really well done movie. This was a little bit better than Amazing Spider-Man 1 in my opinion. I'm not going to give away, like I said, I'm not going to give away the end, but we do see the mysterious man from the first one again. So he is playing a part in this. That mysterious man and the Parkers are actually a storyline that is being woven through this whole new version of the Spider-Man movie, which you know, a lot of people give that flack because they're like, oh, I want resolution to this, I want this done. I actually like it because it's like reading a story arc in a comic book. Yeah, it's going to take about, you know, a couple of years to get these out, probably like 7-8 years to get all together because they're doing 4, about 2 years apart. So it would be about you know, when it's all said and done, it would be like an 8-year gap in between from the first one to the ending of the last one. But I really like it because it's like a big story arc in a comic book. It's not, you know, one-shot movies. Yes, they can stand alone on their own, but when you watch them together, they actually form a cohesive universe, and one thing leads to another that leads to another, and it's all tied in. And I really like that aspect of it. So, as a movie, I don't think it's as good as Captain America, The Winter Soldier, but I think it's just below that. So, I'm actually going to give this 4.5 stars because I really liked it. The action sequences were awesome. They did some great, you know, aerial shots. I'm not so crazy about how they keep doing that slow motion, you know, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon thing that, once that movie came out, we started seeing that everywhere, and then we saw in The Matrix, that slowing down time, going like this. I'm not crazy about that, but it was cool in the movie. Could have done a little bit less of it, but in the moments that they did it, it was, especially when they showed the one part where Peter shoots his web, and you see the web shooting out, and it's slow motion, and just the ending expands a little. It was really cool scene. You'll see that in the movie. So, yeah, I don't want to go too far into it, but like I said, I give it 4.5 stars. I say go see it. It's really an improvement on the last one, and I want to see what the next one's going to be about. I can see where they're going with this, and I want to go along with it, and I want to see how it progresses the story. Well, those are my thoughts. Now I want to know what yours are in the comments below. Also, like this video, subscribe to Comic Frontline, check out and subscribe to my channel, The Comic Book Theater. Check out Comic Frontline, the site, for all the latest previews, reviews, news, and interviews. For even more news on all things related to comics, comicrelated.com is your source for all your comic book needs with daily updates. And don't forget to like and follow me and Comic Frontline on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. I'll include all these links in the description below. Until then, I'll catch you in the next review.